We good? I feel like we're good. We're waiting for it on the stream.
We have to wait for it.
We do. It always.
always.
It's the delay. It's the multiple seconds delay. There we go. We're good.
Perfect.
It looks lovely. As you guys can see, Paul, I know, is already in the chat. Anyone who is in the chat right now, watching the stream or listening afterwards or watching afterwards, as you can see or now hear,
we
are back in the studio.
Yes.
And very excited about it. There's just a buzz around.
There is.
For the time when you're in the studio. You know, you get
it's
that.
Been 3 weeks?
I think it has.
Because we had the week off and we had the Zoom.
Yeah. Which...
The Zoom worked well.
There was a bit of a
the start wasn't great.
And there was also a bit of a delay with my voice, so apologies to everyone on that. We're still working out how to do all of that. Like we said last week, you know, we're getting it ready for when we go off.
Exactly.
Starting in September of this coming year. Megan said, good to see you both. Thank you for joining the stream. I'm glad that you could make it. But yeah, we're very excited to be back in the studio and broadcasting together, not remotely.
We have to plug it again.
Oh, again, yeah. Of course, 100%.
Some new merch from the rebrand.
What is that you have on? Is that the Class on Grass official merchandise?
Yeah, so this is the Class on Grass Media official merchandise. What are you?
So I personally have the Class on Grass Media Weekly official merchandise. So COG Weekly official merchandise.
Is there something on the back?
There is. I'm just gonna turn around.
I think that works.
You can see this.
We can see that.
That
looks great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's why you join the YouTube lives. You know, so you can see.
You can see it on body.
You can make sure that before you make the purchase, you're making the right decision.
Exactly.
But yeah, go grab yourself some COG Weekly or Class on Grass official merchandise.
Yes.
Very comfortable, I must say.
Very.
Good service, great customer service from...
Great shipping.
Oh, yeah.
Came here in a couple days.
Yeah. Right now, actually, they're experiencing a little bit of... Currently.
Oh, no.
I do have to say that. But if you ordered a week ago...
There's just too many orders.
Yeah, it's there. If you guys saw, we are out of stock in a few.
We are.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's phenomenal. But...
I mean, we should get into it.
Oh, we should. You can begin.
Welcome back to the COG Weekly podcast. Season 3, episode 19.
So I had to look over for that one.
I just had to double check.
We're getting to those numbers where it's like...
losing track of time.
Well, if you think about it, so the first season we probably had something close to 40 episodes.
Yeah.
Second season, I think we had 38.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're on 19. So, I don't know. That means, like...
I mean, the new season
close
was
to 100.
5 months ago.
Have we had 100 episodes yet? Now I'm going to have to check in Apple Podcasts.
I think it's around 60 last time I checked.
Only 60? No way. No chance.
But you can double check that.
I'm going through and I'm going to see 64. Okay, so it's not even close to 100.
But
we're going to have to do something big for 100.
100's got to be huge.
100 is going to be insane. I'm expecting a very good turnout for that episode, you know, like exponential growth from now until then. Yeah. But Paul, I see that you say you're back again too. Thank you for joining. Wait, hold on. Oh, this is Paul's second account.
Oh, he's got two.
He's doing the double. That's unbelievable from you, Paul.
That's great, Paul.
Double likes, double views, double comments. That's great from you, Paul. Super happy about that. But without further ado, let's get into it with the trademarked COG Weekly ritual that we do every single podcast. And it was changed last episode. So getting into it, it is the Hassani of the Week, which is a decision between 3 players now. Those 3 players, if you can't see on the screen, are Luca De La Torre, Harvey Elliott, and Danny Alves. So starting with the Usmnt ace, the guy who played absolutely unbelievable.
Man of the match.
Oh, he was so good.
He was
incredible in the coldest game, as we have titled the episode. We were actually at the game, for those of you wondering. Very, very fun place to be, although people were probably thinking that it was not necessarily something you'd want to be at because of the temperature. It was definitely worthwhile.
Oh, completely. I think just based on... I mean, I don't know if you follow a lot of the USMNT players on Instagram, but a handful of them, pretty much all of them, on their, post-match post where it's them in the game, they say, like, picked up the 3 points or whatever. I'd say 90% of them were like, this was great, but I'm never doing this again. Or
Did you see Tim?
Tim Weah
afterwards?
said, "I'm retiring if I have to do this again." And you know,
You love to see it, though.
hopefully that's not personal towards
Minnesota.
Allianz.
Yeah, well, which is a phenomenal
Yeah,
stadium.
I think it's definitely towards the weather, but hopefully they don't have that negative thought when they come here to play again. Hopefully, so.
Hopefully they don't schedule one in February again.
I mean, yeah, we couldn't really do much about it.
I mean, just talking about the game, 2 players from the Honduras team going out with hypothermia throughout the game is not ideal for just overall players' safety in the CONCACAF and FIFA World Cup qualifiers.
No, and
you don't like to see it.
No, and I thought, pre-game, I thought we were going to probably move it to maybe US Bank Stadium where the Vikings play, because it was really that cold, and I was like, me personally, I can bundle up. All the fans can. I don't think that's an issue.
Yeah.
But for the players, they have to pretty much be down to 1 layer, maybe 2 layers. Based on what we saw and what you can see on screen, most players had what Luka had with that like thermal underlayer with the jazz gloves, as Men in Blazers say. And even so Matt Turner, I think, was the funniest because he started the game with, what the quarterbacks have where they keep the hands in the pouch, the fanny pack. He had one of those, and the ref 30 seconds into the game argued with him and told him to take it off, which I feel like he should have known that he couldn't have it.
That's a weird one. I was gonna ask initially, why was that not a red flag?
Yeah.
But obviously the ref kind of took care of that, and then he was able to come back out, gloves on, undershirt on. He didn't have compressions on his legs. You did see the kneecaps showing, so maybe a bit of frostbite there, but he doesn't say anything. He's an absolute beast.
I mean, it was hilarious to watch. We were sitting next to each other, and he would,
for the second half.
Yeah, he would just have his hands in his shorts, warmest place on the body, and just running back and forth. And he would run over to the sideline during breaks. I mean, there were a lot of injury breaks.
There were
just weirdly, the Honduran players would just go down for 10 minutes, and then Matt would go over and they'd give him a blanket, which I thought was hilarious. So really just funny things. I think it's very memorable, at least for us.
That was a super memorable game. I mean, Paul said the Muppet, Craig Burley, should never be allowed on TV again after saying
ESPN FC, pundit.
Yeah. Maybe sometimes things that Paul doesn't agree with, as we see here.
Yeah.
But he did say that there would be a half-empty stadium, and I do agree that it's somewhat disrespectful to Minnesota fans who turn up, like Paul said, every week for this kind of stuff, whether it's the Winter Classic in the NHL, which was a month ago, and that was -8, or this game, or playoff games that were previously at TCF Bank where the Loons used to play, and stuff like that. So yeah, it was obviously not necessarily super educated to say that. And honestly, I had quite an experience trying to get in the first place. So I got there, and of course I was like, I had my ticket ready, and I was like, here we go, we're gonna get in, this is gonna be great. And then I realized that you need a vaccine card to get in anywhere right now. And so I was like, shoot, I left my vaccine card at home. This is not good. This is not ideal. And I didn't know if I took a picture of it on my phone. So I started going through my camera roll, and my fingers immediately just died.
Oh.
Immediately, because I had taken them out of my gloves.
Yeah.
And so I had to run a half mile away from the stadium to a really old pizza shop that was the only thing that was open. Walked in, asked if I could stay in there as they were closing, and they said yes. And I went through and I got the vaccine card and went back, and I got in the stadium 25 minutes late. So not a deal.
I mean, it, like I said, memories to last a lifetime, I'd say.
One of my favorite games.
Yeah, and like Paul said, they should know if they are coming to play in -degree weather, Minnesotans take that as a challenge.
Yeah, seriously,
we have to go. It's necessary to go because Minnesota, always cold. You gotta just bear it out.
You do.
But Luka, back to the Hassani, I mean, great game. I think got to be one of his only starts. Probably.
Yeah, it's one of his few starts. He played in the CONCACAF games throughout this past summer and whatnot. and last spring break period, like March,
Yeah.
April. He played in some of those. But this was one of his only times stepping foot on the field with the U.S. men's national team jersey. I mean, you could probably count on one hand the amount of times he has. And he put in an absolutely phenomenal performance, controlling the game, moving around the entire field, getting touches on the ball. I mean, his heat map must have been incredible because he was absolutely everywhere. And it's really good to see because it shows the depth that we have in the USMNT right now. I mean, he plays. I said to you at the game, I think he plays for Heracles, and then I kind of second guessed myself, but I actually looked. He does. He plays for Heracles, who are in the Eredivisie. They're not one of the top teams in the Eredivisie, but given that he's in the Eredivisie and not on a top team and still able to come into a USMNT team that is really strong with good players from top leagues and do well, shows the amount of depth that we have that's kind of hiding in the rough right now.
Yeah, and I watched his post-match interview, and he said it felt good to play like I do for club. It felt like a club performance, and if he's playing like that for his club, that's incredible.
Beast.
And usually, I know last week we had Weston on the Hassani choice of 3, and we said he was really that energy spark. And this game is pretty much all Luka. McKennie was a little more quiet.
He was quiet.
He did score the opening goal, but he maybe it was the cold, but Luka really warmed himself up by just dribbling. Like every time he got the ball, he looked to turn and dribble and drive forward, which I think has been missing in this
Definitely.
team.
Yeah, it's something in the Canada game that I think we lacked, that direct play, and that's something that people were praising Canada for. They got the ball and they knew exactly what to do with it. They got it, they turned, they found their outlets, they found Jonathan David. They knew exactly what they needed to do to get into the opponent's half, to get into dangerous areas, and to find the net, even if the game was completely against them and they didn't have the majority of the possession. Versus the USMNT has been quite methodical about how they play, but it's been just passing around the back and switching sides and being patient. And at a certain point, you can't be patient anymore and you have to score. And Luka provided us with that sense of urgency to go forward, to find the outlets out to the wingers and through balls and whatnot. And it really sprung us to getting more opportunities in the opponent's box. Now, given it was Honduras, who are not as good defensively as Canada.
Yeah. I think the biggest takeaway from that game and from his performance is, like you said, just another option, but it's kind of sad in that way because Tyler Adams obviously didn't play, and he's automatic starter, captain pretty much for the team. McKennie's there. You look at Acosta, who started as well, who got a couple assists because they're all from set pieces. I mean, I don't know what Musa as well, who didn't play. What's your kind of ideal midfield 3 for the U.S. at this moment, I guess?
At this moment, I'd say, so Paul just asked a question in the chat that's what would be both of your USMNT starting 11s in the World Cup, and we can actually get to that after we do the Hassani of the week. That can be another thing that we get to.
Yeah.
But if I'm looking at the midfield 3 currently, we're going to play a game tomorrow and we need to win. I'm putting Tyler Adams as the 6, Wes as the 8, and Yunus Musa as the 10, or maybe Wes a bit higher and him and Musa kind of an equal playing in that regard. So we have a 6 and 2 8s or a 6 and 2 10s. And I think that is our strongest midfield right now, but I do think that Luka has an opportunity to break into that and get minutes and whatnot. Alongside other midfielders that have been in the pool for quite a while that, are very solid players, Kellyan Acosta and other people who definitely have the ability to. But we'll go over the whole USMNT starting 11 in the World Cup after the Hassani. But overall, looking at Luka's performance over this past week, I would give him a solid 9. I think that there was not much that went wrong. The only reason I deduct any points from his overall rating for the Hassani of the week would just be because of the level of opponent he's playing against. He's on a strong side for the USMNT, and he's playing against Honduras, who are second to last
in negative degree weather.
Exactly. So you do have to deduct a little bit of points because, maybe he has the advantage playing in the Netherlands in colder weather against a team that's not as strong, maybe similar to the level of opponents he plays in the Eredivisie. So
it's true.
Yeah, maybe that's why it was more like a club game for him.
Mm-hmm. And moving on to the second player, we have Harvey Elliott, who we haven't seen for a couple months, I think since September.
Yeah,
at
I
least.
saw him go out with his injury about 3 or 4 months ago, whatever it was.
Yep, in that Leeds game, and first appearance back. I believe he subbed on for Liverpool in their FA Cup match, and he scored. Which, I mean, it's great to see. It's a great
It is
thing. When
great story.
You really feared that coming back. You see those young players get a bad injury, and it takes them a while to come back, and then they're never the same. But hopefully Harvey is back to his best and at least can get there in a couple weeks. But this is a good sign for him.
Yeah, no, it is. I'm really happy that he's able to get back. He's fit again. He was able to get on the score sheet. Overall, solid performance from him. If I had to, in my rating later and rating it right now, he's not my candidate for Hassani of the Week this week, but I think he deserves that entrance into the pool of the 3 players, 100%.
I agree. And lastly, I mean, an old school player.
Phenomenal performance this past week with everything that you want to see from this man.
I mean, some say it's a Brazilian hat trick.
Oh, it totally is.
It's Dani Alves, who so I watched this game. It was actually one of our prediction games, which we'll get to how that turned out. But it was Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid, and
derby.
Yeah,
big derby.
The commentators were like, because obviously, okay, so Dani Alves assisted Jordi Alba, classic Barcelona fullback to fullback goal.
Fullback to fullback.
I mean, that's how you want it. That's how Pep draws it up every day. And so he gets that assist, and then he also scores in the second half with a brilliant volley as well. And then
he completes it. He really completes the hat trick,
assist, goal, and red card, and it was extremely dirty. I don't know if you saw it, but like the play had ended. It was on an offside. Carrasco was kind of dribbling.
Yannick.
Yeah.
The ledge.
The ref, was about to blow his whistle for offside, and he just stamped on his calf.
Yep. That's Danny for you.
Clear as day, a red card, and he'll complain, but he kind of knew what he was doing, I think. But, I mean, that's great.
Pretty impressive influence considering he got sent off in the 70th minute, 20 minutes before the game ended, and was still able to provide a goal and an assist.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's the Brazilian hat trick. It's the Alves hat trick. So he can go home with nothing but tears of joy for what a beautiful performance he had. But yeah, having to rate all of them, I would say that my number one player out of this mix of 3 candidates is Luka, just because I was in person for his performance. He played really, really well, and kind of like last week, where we chose someone who maybe wasn't quite as good as, or wasn't, when we chose McKennie, wasn't as qualified in the level of play as some of the other candidates. The impact that Luka had on the Usmnt was so good and so helpful that I think that, disregarding quality and level of play and who you're playing against, he was so good on the day.
I respect that, and I think I can be swayed to Luka.
You could. Okay.
I do say Dani Alves.
What's your so my rating of Luka was 9 out of 10. What's your rating of Luka and why?
Okay,
we can average it then.
9 out of 10 as in performance, for the game.
Well, no, it's the Hassani score. It's
just
Well, I'll record it. So
okay.
So it's 9 out of 10 for me. And what are you thinking?
I'll go 9 out of 10 because pretty much.
So Danny's a 10.
For Danny, yeah.
Wow.
No, 9 out of 10 for Danny too.
Oh, what are you saying for Luka?
For Luka, the same. I think it's tied.
Oh wow. Okay.
For me, but I think I'll go with Luka just so we have a singular.
And Paul just said he's voting for Luka as well because he's a biased American.
Which we all are.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
We have voted. This is our second American possible Hassani of the Week in a row. So
well, Sargent got it last week too. We had 2 Americans last week.
Oh my god.
Another one this week. It will change.
This is an American podcast. Yeah, so it's fine.
It was a international break these past couple weeks, so they kind of deserved it. But yeah, I've got a spot in my heart for the Dani Alves hat trick, and I think it was unique. I was impressed by his performance at the age he is at.
Oh, it's phenomenal. What a great signing from Xavi.
I think for the sake of the podcast, we'll go with Luca de la Torre as our Hassani of the Week.
So 2 Luca De La Torres from me and Mac, and then also a Luca De La Torre from Paul and a Luca De La Torre from the Larson family. They said that they vote Luca too, although he is the only one that they saw play in person. That would probably sway your vote.
You weren't at Anfield or Camp Nou?
You weren't at the Camp Nou? Actually, William Welsh was at Camp Nou.
At the game?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's great.
We don't need to expose who William Welsh is, but
friend of the pod.
He is a friend of the pod, and he was at Camp Nou, which is phenomenal. So yeah, Luca wins for this week. Another American. Congratulations, Luca. I will at you in the Instagram post after this, or in the Instagram story, and give you a little congratulations. So hopefully you can see that and feel good about your performance, as I always do. These players see it. Trust me.
They do.
Actually, I reckon there's a chance Luca sees it.
Yeah, I think he's
low profile enough to be able to see it. He doesn't have like the same Pulisic or McKennie following.
He's got to be the same as Hassani, maybe.
No, Hassani's definitely got more. Check it out. See how many followers he has. I'm saying like 7,000 for Luca.
No way. Oh, 7,000.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, he plays in the Eredivisie. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's great. His last post on Instagram, good game. Pulisic commented beast.
Yeah, Pulisic knows. Pulisic should have commented future Hassani of the week.
Yeah.
Hassani has,
so very similar.
Hassani has 7,000 as well.
Yeah.
And Hassani noticed us. So there's a chance Luca notices us.
Paul, I know you helped us with tagging Hassani in the one.
Yeah, Paul, do it again. Do it again. So Paul, we'll post another post like with a little clip from the podcast, and we'll at Luca and we'll say congrats. And Paul, help us out. Let's get him to notice it, and maybe we'll have him on the pod. Actually, we're gonna be doing.
Great.
It's kind of undisclosed right now and stuff, but we're gonna be doing some more Caden Clark-esque videos starting in a couple months, and we have some lined up, so it should be pretty cool. And
again, big things coming.
Hey, there's always big things coming when you are a Class and Grass Media fan.
This is just how it goes.
Paul said he will absolutely do it again. That is phenomenal. I'm so happy about it. Also, thank you, Angie, for liking the setup that we have going on. She did say that in the past. And so thank you so much for respecting the hard work that went into creating this setup. Moving past the Hassani of the week, we now have to cover one of the biggest things that's probably been on people's mind since yesterday, and that is AFCON. And AFCON has come to an end. It finished with an Egypt versus Senegal game, Salah versus Mane. So great to see two stars from the Liverpool side matching up against each other. And it went to penalties, 120 minutes for the 4th time in a row for Egypt, which is crazy. Yeah. Salah has played 120 minutes times 4.
They have to rest him.
It's crazy. Yeah. But Egypt did not come out on top. They went into penalty shootout, and Senegal won. And Mane was buzzing. Did you see the Instagram post afterwards?
I did. He had a bit of, reminiscent of Lewandowski with the Champions League trophy.
Yes, waking up with it in bed. Yeah. Reminiscent of the SPA boys varsity soccer captains after winning the IMAC conference.
Yeah.
It was widely televised. People knew about all of that stuff. So we are freely able to talk about it because COG fans know what's up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great to see that he was celebrating. And then did you also see the parade back in Senegal?
I mean, it was
incredible.
I did see that.
There was
just a sea of people.
Thousands of people.
Flooding the streets.
Not 20,000. I'm saying plus 100,000 people.
It was insane. And the players were on top of a city bus, it looked like.
Yeah.
And it was just so cool. It was
so sick.
You couldn't see the ground. It was just all people waving their flags and everything. And it was their first ever AFCON trophy. So great for Mane. He's done so much for his hometown, I've read about, and it's great to see it. Although I almost chose the winning AFCON team, which you have to give me credit for.
You were close.
I chose Egypt at the start. And
to be fair, when you looked at the Egypt versus Senegal lineups, Senegal had the stronger side.
Okay, so I saw that too, and I was like, Senegal are
really,
insane.
really good.
They have Koulibaly, Ismaila Sarr from Watford,
Mendy,
Mendy.
I can't remember.
They had PSG player.
Yeah.
They
had just gay.
Yep. I mean, just solid. Yeah. Top 5 European League team players, and
really solid.
I'm I'm excited to see how they do in the World Cup.
I am. No,
'Cause-
that's going to be very
Yeah.
interesting. Well, they were the team that
Yeah.
scored the first goal in 2014 or 2010 and then did the dance afterwards, right?
No, that was like South Africa, wasn't it?
I-
Some
It
team.
might have
Who
been
host? It was in South Africa.
South Africa.
Maybe it was Senegal.
It was Senegal or South Africa.
Yeah.
It's one of the two.
And but I also saw, so last World Cup, I forgot, they were the team that got knocked out because of the, like, technicality, because they were tied with another team. I forgot who.
Yeah.
But they had to go out because they had, or the fair play rule.
Yeah, it was
they
the
had
cards.
less yellow card. Yeah.
It was the cards.
I mean, that's just.
Yeah,
So they've been good.
definitely-
They should have made the knockout rounds
Yeah.
last World Cup. Hopefully they do better in the next one.
Paul said that he had to go and wind some Liverpool fans after seeing that Salah wasn't in the AFCON team of the tournament. That's actually crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he didn't necessarily have the most influential AFCON performance,
I
but
did
for
see
a
that too, yeah.
player of his caliber, you would expect that even then he gets into the team of the tournament.
He did well though. He had a couple.
Well, they also
goals,
went to the
couple
final.
assists.
Like,
yeah,
come on.
their goalie did do really well, and yeah, they hadn't missed a penalty. So you said they went to penalties the last 3 games of the tournament. 4 games. They hadn't missed a penalty the whole tournament until the final, and
Yeah.
they missed 2.
Yep.
So, I mean, they're
unfortunate.
being
scenes.
perfect on penalties until the final was
And Mane missed a penalty during
during the
regular
game,
time. Yeah.
and then scored the winning penalty, which it makes you feel good as well.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
It does. Mane was probably having a good time celebrating. There were celebrations in New York as well, and
Yeah, we did see that.
hopefully COVID has not infected too many of the players during
True.
their celebrations and parading around Senegal.
But let
and
them
their
have
cities.
fun, honestly.
Let them have fun. I mean,
First trophy for Senegal ever.
the clubs have to. Liverpool has to be lenient in bringing both Mo and Sadio.
They should
back.
have a rest.
They totally should. I
Yeah.
mean, Mo has played, 480 minutes in the last week and a half?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
That's just not right. Rivas said that he's back. Welcome, Rivas. It's good to
There
see
he
you.
is.
I hope you're doing well. And let us know if you want us talking about anything. Moving from AFCON back over to a question that Paul had during the Hassani of the Week time, which is ideal starting 11 for the World Cup for the USMNT. Do you want to begin? Who do you think would be your backline and goalkeeper?
Okay. I think we can do a combined one.
That's true, yeah.
But we
Goalkeeper's
can
a
start with
tough
goal.
one.
Yeah, we can start with goalkeeper. I was talking to Brian
Yeah.
after the game, and we were both saying like, well, Stefan has to, once he's healthy, he has to be that number 1 goalkeeper spot. And I said, I don't know.
That's
I mean,
what I'm thinking.
Matt Turner, new deal to Arsenal, not confirmed yet, but pretty much.
It's
and-
basically there.
Yeah, doing very well for New England last season, and he's staying with New England for the start of the season until the summer, so he will have more minutes pretty much than Stefan altogether before the World Cup in the next fall. So honestly, I'd do Matt Turner.
I'm not gonna fight you on it. I
Yeah.
think it's so even.
It is
Zach
even.
Zach is obviously one of our our highest quality goalkeepers that
Mm-hmm.
we have in our system, and that we ever have had, other than maybe Tim Howard. But Matt Turner and Ethan Horvath, although he's lower
I mean,
down.
he had a great performance against Mexico.
Yeah,
but he
I
hasn't
think
really done much.
I think they're in contention
Yeah.
depending on how friendlies prior to the World Cup go. I think that there's a chance it's Turner. I think there's a small chance that it's Horvath, and I think that there's a 60% chance that it's Stefan. But I would still say that Matt Turner is my favored one.
Yeah, I'd say Turner on form,
Yeah.
which form is huge for a goalie as well.
Totally. So we'll go Turner in the back.
Turner in the back,
Now we got to go.
Right
Let's go center backs first.
center backs first.
So this one's a tough one because, right, John Brooks wasn't in this squad.
No,
And
and he's had a bit of a dip.
he has. So it's apparently Greg said that it's purely form based and it's
Yep.
just form with Wolfsburg that he's talking about. where there's been a dip.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this is kind of a strange one because Wolfsburg are playing in the Bundesliga and he is a starter for them and they're not doing that well. But just because Wolfsburg aren't doing that well doesn't mean that John Brooks isn't doing that well. So you're kind of basing the whole team off of him. And they didn't even bring him in at all to the team. He wasn't even in the squad in any way. So I think you bring him back. I don't know if he starts. I mean, you have Miles Robinson and you have Chris Richards, and you have Man Bun.
Zimmerman.
Yeah.
I mean, I've become more and more of a fan of Zimmerman. So, for me personally, I would almost start Zimmerman. If it was group stages, first game, I'd start Zimmerman to see what the level he's at. And then
I'd start Chris Richards with him. That's my point of view.
So yeah, I was gonna say, Miles Robinson has started pretty much every game for Greg, I feel like.
Yeah.
And that seems to be his favorite center back out of the three, or out of like the 4 or 5. But I'm not a huge fan of Miles. He seems to have a bit of a mistake in him.
That's the one thing I'm worried about.
On the ball,
it's just won a game, but that can be really costly.
Yeah, he seems to have a mistake in him on ball. Off the ball, he's just a very good defender.
He's a beast.
But I don't see... I mean, Zimmerman might be worse pretty much on the ball than Robinson.
But he's a veteran. He's
that, like, insane center back that you need to have. Like,
exactly.
Like, just going in for tackles and stuff. And like you said, I think Richards is very good on the ball. And I
really like Chris Richards.
I would probably put him...
He's someone I want to get on the podcast, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to lie. Chris Richards would be a good guy to get on the podcast.
I think that... So that's our two center backs. Do you agree with Walker Zimmerman?
Yeah, I think Walker Zimmerman and Chris Richards. Paul said
I would be quick to take Zimmerman out.
I would, but I think he can be that veteran for us.
I agree.
Paul said Robinson and Richards, and Brooks in the back with Dest.
Oh, so he's saying
Robinson,
Anthony Robinson.
Oh, yeah, Anthony, not Miles. I was like,
Richards
wait a minute.
I think Brooks would be good, especially for the World Cup for experience, but
I don't know. I think he definitely deserves to be in the squad. I think he was completely shafted not getting into the team.
That's true.
But I wouldn't say that he deserves to start right now. And I think you got to make some rotations and friendlies pre-World Cup. Mm-hmm. I mean, assuming that we get there. That's the other thing. Like, we did win to Honduras, but we still got to close the next window well. So yeah, that's the center backs.
As far as fullbacks, I feel like it's pretty.
It's a Robinson Dest.
Anthony Robinson and Serginho Dest. There hasn't been another fullback that is rotated in that's looked better than those two, especially at left back. I think Anthony Robinson's really our only left back at this point.
Yeah.
Which is a bit concerning.
We played DeAndre Yedlin at left back, but he's also
we played Dest
back to the MLS.
Yeah, we've played Dest at left back before, and he just hasn't been as effective. But yeah, I agree. Those two are pretty much given. And then
let's go with the triangle in the middle.
So yeah, I think we're going with a 3.
I think I'm going with a 1-2 in the middle.
I think
6 and 2 8s.
Yeah, I think 2 players are pretty much a given.
I think that Tyler Adams at 6 and Wes at 8 is a given. And I think that Yunus Musa is kind of on thin ice for that last position in the middle. I think right now he has it for me, and I really rate the guy, but you do have players coming right behind you, like Luca De La Torre. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. When he made that like official switch to be a U.S. player, that was like the best I've seen from him. I think that was last year during those friendlies, but since then he hasn't played bad, like you said. He just hasn't really impressed me like McKennie and Adams do every single game. So I think it is still Musa, which is the obvious choice, but I would also not be surprised if maybe if we needed to go more defensive against a better team, maybe go Acosta and Adams in there with McKennie in front of them.
I would rate that if we're winning.
Yeah.
Bring Acosta in, play him and Adams, as 2 6s, McKennie in front of him, let McKennie roam and just tackle people like crazy,
Yeah.
and then we can sit back. So that's like another way that we could do it. Paul said he'd go McKennie and Adams as 2 DMs with Reyna as a 10. That's a good point. We haven't really mentioned Gio, but I don't think Gio breaks into the midfield.
I don't like Gio at midfield. I like him
We'll get into that in the future.
But yeah, I think Luca Del Torre and Acosta could definitely rotate for Musa depending on the situation in the game. If we're losing, then maybe put Luca in to give that more, like we said, direct drive into the attack. If we're winning, maybe bring Acosta in for that solidity. But so yeah, front three, whichever way, maybe. I mean, obviously we could go wingers, 1 striker, 2 strikers, a false 9, whatever.
For my front three,
just 3 attackers.
For my front three, I'm playing a false 9, a left forward, and a right forward.
Okay.
So this is kind of creating a diamond midfield.
Yeah.
And that means that Musa and McKennie would be more roaming centrally.
Yeah, okay.
My false 9 is Gio. And
I agree.
I would love him to drop in a central role, but in a forward position where he's able to get forward and make supporting runs on 2 left and right forwards who aren't getting our width. I'd like our width to come from Anthony Robinson and Serginho Dest, but are able to make direct runs as those forwards. So for me, Gio is in that number 10 spot. Brendan can sub in there. Yep. Christian can sub in there, and that's a big thing. I'm saying Christian can sub in.
Really?
I'm not putting Christian Pulisic in my starting 11.
What?
But that's my center
How
forward.
are you doing that?
Hold on. We'll see. Paul, I disagree. Pulisic on the left, completely disagree. But yes, Gio at my center forward. What are you saying?
Wow.
And you can change away the front positioning.
I agree with Gio as a kind of false 9. 2 ahead of him is Pepe and Pulisic. I don't really see how you're leaving Pulisic out of the starting 11. In big games, he always shows up for us, even if he's not affecting the game like 90 minutes. So I'd love to hear your reasoning, but Pulisic is just one of those that you have to have in your squad, in your starting 11, play the whole game. Aronson, like you said, doesn't quite fit the starting 11 at the moment, and Pepe's really, even though he is low on form, I mean, we don't really have a striker option.
Yes, we do.
Who?
Here we go. Ready? Here's my front 2.
You better not say Josie.
I'm not saying Josie. I'm not saying Josie. Right. We have 2 strikers. 1, Ricardo Pepi. We know that he's a good, proven striker. Well, not proven, but he's good. He's young. He has talent. I put him on the right. He can make some action happen. Remember, we're getting our wingbacks up and we're having them whipping crosses. Left forward, Jordan Pefok. Right now, 13 goals, 19 games in the league with 19 goals on his whole season. Playing for Young Boys in Switzerland. I'm telling you right now, bring this guy in, he will get goals. He will get headers. He's a beast.
Yeah, that's
Sub
a perfect,
Pulisic in for
that's
Gio
a perfect option for Pepe.
No, I want 2 of them.
No.
I want 2 of them.
I would rather actually have Pulisic and Weah up top than...
I don't even have Weah in my front, or in my second.
Yeah, I know. So there we go. To finish it out, our front 3 is kind of debatable.
It's because I want the U.S. to play crossing.
Yeah.
And I think Pulisic then has to sit in the middle.
Fullbacks should definitely... I agree. I think we should be narrow up top and be wide from the fullbacks. And I don't know. Yeah, Paul, I agree. I think P-Folk is definitely completely able to take that Pepe spot for me. But Pulisic he just has to be there. I don't see an argument.
I haven't seen the right performances from him over this international break or the last one. I just haven't.
He's just our guy, though.
Yeah,
You can have a dip in form. He's the most talented U.S. player ever.
If he starts going back to what Christian did for us 2 years ago, put him back in the team. Change the formation, move Gio out to the left, play Pulisic as a attacking mid, take Musa out, and then play Tim Weah on the right and Jordan Pefok up top. That's fine. But I don't think that Pulisic is in good enough form, even over the past like year and a half.
Wow.
He's so in and out with Chelsea. Even he's in and out.
You're not playing the LeBron James of soccer.
I'm not playing the LeBron James of soccer.
So you think?
Well, I am. I'm subbing him in.
You think?
Right? I'm subbing him in. He's talented and he's quality.
Help me here, Study. Yeah. You think the Lakers, if LeBron's not having a good season,
he's not the LeBron.
If LeBron's not having a good season, Lakers aren't gonna not start LeBron. Like, come on.
He's always starting.
Yeah, but Pulisic is not the LeBron of soccer. This is what Pawn Stars thought of Christian.
It's banter.
Okay, but
at the same time, you have to. I agree.
Bring Donovan back. No.
I think a Clint Dempsey, Josie Altidore starting.
Tim Howard coming back from NBC Sports.
Let's bring the 2017 unqualified World Cup team that didn't qualify.
And then let's add Kevin Molino.
Michael Bradley. Yeah. Let's get Kevin Molino to transfer.
Switch his citizenship, and let's get him in the team. He's the reason we didn't go.
Yeah.
So why not bring him?
Yeah. I mean, do you not see everyone disagreeing with
everyone in the chat's disagreeing with me? And I understand that I'm on limbs here.
I respect that you're being so bold. I do not respect the opinion.
If he comes back into form, I told you we can change it.
What's going on here? Thank you, Paul. We literally have him hanging behind us.
Oh, just cross his name out.
So you're saying this version, Dortmund version?
That's what I'm saying. Well, even early Chelsea, right when COVID was done, Chelsea.
Pulisic was one of the best players in the league.
But Alexi lost, waiting to be called up.
I would not watch the World Cup.
I would literally turn it off. Actually, no, we can't say that because we did post an article about Alexi, and there was an interview on Glass and Grass Media.
I respect him as a person, but yeah, he's a bit too old for me at center back.
No, so Dortmund Pulisic, yes. COVID Pulisic, 100%. But Pulisic post-COVID lockdown orders, when fans were back in stadiums, no.
We should get a chart about his form.
No, Argentina should not drop Messi because of PSG form, Paul. That is not what I'm saying.
Thank you, Paul.
That is not a comparison that actually makes sense, though. Yeah. He is not the Lionel Messi
of the U.S.
He's
team?
Not. He's not that level. You can't say he's that level.
I think we should leave this because we have other things to talk about, but we can definitely come back to this because this is a good.
We are coming back to this. You guys are gonna see.
We could probably make a whole episode about this.
You guys will see, okay? If he comes back into form, play him. But right now, I don't think he deserves to be on the team sheet in the starting 11 at the current moment.
Are you a Greg fan?
Not really.
Because that's what Greg would do. Greg did that against Honduras. He left him out of the starting 11.
I was respecting that, though, that decision during the Honduras game. And we won. Let's be real. We did win. 3-0.
Pulisic scored.
Yeah, but he subbed in. He's a super sub.
So you think are you saying he's a guaranteed sub?
Oh yeah, totally. He's coming in almost every single game for a good 30 to 40 minutes. No matter what, because he has what you're talking about. He has that ability to just change the game completely.
Yeah.
But when he's not in form, I don't want him to take away from the ability that the team has to succeed with the team's chemistry and with, the style of play that they're going to go for. I believe that the team is more important than the player.
Yeah.
And I think that our team can function better without Pulisic when Pulisic is not in form.
Mm-hmm.
So take Pulisic out, sub him in to change the game. If Pulisic's in form, he can completely make our team better without anyone else doing anything, but I don't think he's in form right now. And I don't think that's necessarily a question. Like, he did score against Honduras, but look at his past 5 matches. He's not in form.
He's not in form now, but
he could go into form, and that's what I'm saying you start at.
Okay, but back to that, I think was it the Gold Cup or Nations League final against Mexico where I don't see any other player on our team scoring an upper 90 penalty in that situation except Pulisic. Like, if we're in the round of 16 of the World Cup, last minute penalty. You're saying, I mean, obviously, from what you're saying, Pulisic would be in the game.
Yes.
I still think Pulisic playing the whole game is just more effective.
I just think that when
he's
he's
just the
not in
clutchest player we
form,
have.
he is.
Yeah.
But I think when he's not in form, the team can perform better than like with him out of the squad than him in the squad. It's a similar analogy, and people get heated about this too. But Ronaldo is possibly hurting United, and people have very separate opinions about this. Very separate. But could United do better and be more free flowing in their attack without Ronaldo? This is another point of discussion. No, I'm not going to get into this.
It's just it's just different reasons that they brought Ronaldo's role.
Yeah, I just think like right now with form, he scored off the bench, and that, like I said, that's what I would do. I would bring him in off the bench. I'd start him maybe next game, but I'm not convinced that his form's good. Paul said Pulisic is in form for the Usmnt though, but you watch the last 3 games, other than Honduras, the last 2 games before that, and he's not contributing really to the attack. He's not creating. I feel he's out of form completely.
Yeah. We can move on, but
yeah, we'll move on from that just because it's getting later in the pod. But this is like, I don't know. It's Paul. You really stirred up some controversy asking us to go over our Usmnt World Cup rosters. We have to move to the FA Cup now. Starting with a huge game.
Wait.
What are you looking up?
Hold on.
What?
Oh, okay.
What do you think it was?
Oh, okay. So you see how it says 49
million?
Yeah,
for Pulisic's value.
I clicked here and said
219. Oh my god.
For our full squad, but I thought it had him. Okay.
Yeah, he's not 219 million.
Okay. FA Cup Magic.
Kidderminster Harriers 2-1 loss to West Ham. Unfortunate. We're going over this one first because I feel like this is arguably one of the best games that we've seen in the FA Cup this year.
Mm-hmm.
Kidderminster Harriers are currently in the National League, which is the 5th division of English football. They were in the National League last year and the year before. So they've been pretty steadily, in that division and that level for the past couple years. And they have made it all the way to the 5th round or 4th round of the FA Cup, and they faced off against West Ham. They got the first goal, which was a great volley that made it 1-0 from Penny. But then Declan Rice scored in the 90th minute to make it 1-1.
It was a fantastic goal.
It was a really good goal. Really, really
But
it
really just tears your heart out.
It does. Because 5th division versus top Premier League team, taking them all the way to the 90th minute, then it makes it 1-1. You go into extra time. Jared Bowen comes out with a goal in the 120th minute of extra time.
They left it late in both regulation and extra time. And so did you see the post-game pictures of David Moyes having a beer with the coaches in the locker room? That's what it's all about.
Oh, it is.
You could tell, and I think Moyes said it in his press conference too. He was like, yeah, we shouldn't have won that, and if I wasn't coaching this team, I would have wanted Kidderminster to go through, and it's just that's just football. Like, these things happen. Obviously, the team, pretty much everyone, probably even West Ham fans, were like, "Oh, it'd be great if it'd be great if they went through." But it's just great to see. This is what the FA Cup's all about, and I know Raj from Men in Blazers has stirred up some conversation about like the U.S. should have one.
Yeah.
Of like MPSL, USL.
Well, they do.
But not all the way down to the bottom.
Open Cup.
I don't think it's all the way down to the bottom.
It goes to MPSL. So it doesn't go to UPSL.
Yeah, but not at I feel like it's not at the scale of that.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Okay, because you look at these MPSL or USL2 versus MLS games, and no one goes. Literally no one.
Yeah.
And you also never get teams that go on runs. You never get that, partially because, the Open Cup hasn't been widely known or broadcasted for very long, but also just because I think there's a bigger discrepancy in our USL League 2 and NPSL teams compared to MLS versus the National League and Premier League teams. I just think there's a bigger discrepancy.
But do you think that would help, like expanding it more, or just advertising more, or doing something to just, I think it would help U.S. soccer a lot.
I do think it would.
If it ever got to the
Grassroots
stage,
football is so important.
if it ever got to the stage of the FA Cup where there are those fairy tale runs and those stories, I think it'd just be incredible. But yeah, another one, Boreham Wood, also a National League team, beat Bournemouth, so they're through the next round against Everton. It was at Bournemouth. They scored, I think, in the 39th minute and held on. And I was watching the last, 15 minutes of the game. And, I mean, they're not in shape. I mean, they're in shape, but they're not, Premier League in shape. So
Not quite.
those lads were really pushing, the boundaries of their body.
They were. It's like the thing we talked about maybe 2 months ago where the guy ate a pie in the goal.
It's just great.
It is.
The FA Cup's great.
The FA Cup brings out the best in people. It
You
really
wouldn't-
does.
You wouldn't find anything else like it. And it was just hilarious because they'd sub on these players in the 90th minute. And they're not soccer players. They don't
Not
look
quite.
like
Not quite.
And then they just kind of jog half pace around.
Yeah.
But it's a great story. They celebrated in the corner with their away fans and into the next round. Hopefully they can beat Everton, although Everton may have a bit of a bounce with Frank. So
yeah. I mean, I think that rounds up our FA Cup games that we wanted to highlight. We are also running behind schedule currently. We don't want to keep you guys up for too long. So we're going to finish out with the good old predictions. Now, I didn't have my best week of predictions.
We probably should review.
We definitely should.
Yeah.
So last week, we predicted 3 games. We predicted Argentina versus Colombia. Not Chile. Colombia. We predicted Celtic versus Rangers, a big rivalry game. And we predicted Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid. So I, unfortunately, was at a record of 3-3 when those predictions happened. And now I'm at a record of 3-6. So I'm not doing so hot with the old predictions. You were at a record of what was it?
I'm 4-5, which.
But what were you before?
I was 2-4.
So you had a much better week.
So yeah, I predicted the Argentina win and the Barca win, which if you look back at our last pod, I was jokingly, I was like, I literally said I'll sacrifice my record just so we have a different prediction.
Yeah, no, you did. I remember that. You did.
I was like, you know what, whatever. And then they go up 4-1.
Luis Suarez couldn't quite.
4-2, but
he actually had a good game. Did you see Luis Suarez got a goal and an assist?
I did.
But he couldn't quite pull it off for the Atletico fans. And like we talked about before, Dani Alves with the Brazilian hat trick led them to victory over at Barcelona. The 3 games that we are predicting this week for a hopeful salvaging of my record is Nice versus Marseille, Wolves versus Arsenal, and Atletico Bilbao versus Valencia. I'm glad that I got all 6 of those clubs correct.
That's great. I mean, we should do a badge quiz.
That's,
next time we
I would have gotten Colombia's wrong.
You would have. Even though it says Colombia on the, on the badge. That would be fun to do a badge quiz, see if we can guess them. I think we'd do all right.
Yeah. I think
saying that we'd probably not.
Nah, badges are pretty simple.
Okay.
Well,
I don't know. But yeah, so for Nice Marseille, it's a Coupe de France quarterfinal game.
Yeah. So basically like the FA Cup.
Yeah. But it's for context, Marseille are second in Ligue 1 with 43 points and Nice are third. So it's actually a big matchup in terms of table, even though it's not in the league play.
Yeah. Two strong teams.
Yeah. Who do you got in this one? I purposely chose 2 games besides the Wolves and Arsenal team they're close in the table, but we don't really know a whole lot about their season.
Yeah. I'm going with Marseille. I think if I take the favored team here, 1 point ahead of Nice in the table, they are a place ahead of Nice as well. And I think that if I take the favored route, I'm more likely to start salvaging my record. So that's the only reason I'm going to do it. But
you're trying to go 3-0?
I'm definitely trying to go 3-0.
Well, obviously we're both trying to go 3-0.
You're not trying to go 3-0?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to go 1-2 today.
Yeah. Okay. And I think it could be a rule that 1 out of the 3 we can have the same prediction on.
Yeah. I think we can. I think there has to be one where we're different.
So you can
do
two. Okay.
Yeah.
So you said a win.
He said
Yeah,
a
I'm
win
saying
for
I'm saying a
Marseille.
win for Marseille.
That's the big M, right?
Yes, the big
And it
M.
has to be a win because it's a quarterfinal game. It's a knockout game. So
Yeah.
we can't go draw on this one.
Yep.
I'll be different. I'll go Nice.
Nice. So you're gonna copy me on the next two?
No. Well, I don't know. I don't know what your prediction is. But yeah, next matchup, a more familiar Premier League. Premier League's back midweek. It actually starts tomorrow.
Yep.
Wolves Arsenal. Wolves are in 8th, 2 points behind Arsenal in 6th, with 36 points. And Bruno Lage got Manager of the Month, which just shows you how well Wolves have done climbing the table. They were pretty low just obviously a month ago. But
Yep.
do you want me to go first? Or you?
You got it.
Okay. Wolves at home. The Molyneux. Paul, we're in the same kind of mindset here. Molyneux, a fortress, as one might say. I'm going with the Wolves a win.
I'm not.
Okay, well, that's good.
I'm going for 3-0. So I'm going for an Arsenal win.
So you're
Arsenal.
Okay, so you're being boring and picking.
No, just wait.
Favorite team.
Just wait. Arsenal on this one. Arsenal are quality. Arsenal are very quality. If you can hear the ruffling of papers, it's because Suddy's hard at work to try to make sure
recording.
We get all of this recorded.
Transcript.
Oh yeah, he's doing
He actually writes.
He writes the subtitles for the YouTube.
Yeah, everything we say.
He currently transcribes literally everything.
Handwritten, not even like typewriter.
Yeah.
So you're Arsenal win for Leo.
Yep.
Wolves win for me.
Nice.
What are the names of the teams for the last group?
Atletico Bilbao is the first one, and the second one is Valencia.
Athletic Club.
Athletic Club Bilbao.
It's a great name. Great badge.
Oh, it is. It's phenomenal.
Great little badge there. Got a skyline with some stripes.
They do.
Valencia's, I'm not really sure what's going on with that.
For this match, it is a Copa del Rey semifinal.
It's leg one.
Yeah.
So it could be a draw.
It could be.
To keep that in mind.
Atletico Bilbao beat Real Madrid in the quarters. And there's only 4 points between them in La Liga. So, again, a very close matchup. We don't follow La Liga religiously, so we don't know how these teams are necessarily performing consistently and how they do on the field. More we know just about the results and whatnot. But I really like Atletico Bilbao, so I'm going with an Atletico Bilbao win here. That's nothing to do with tables, nothing to do with points. I really, really like Atletico Bilbao as a squad.
This is where we're the same.
See, it's allowed.
I love the Williams brothers.
Yes. Inaki,
and then his brothers on the wing as well. And that's a great little duo there. And yeah, I mean, if you beat Real Madrid, you got something to you. So
it's true.
Leg one, I think they'll make a statement. Maybe Valencia come back. Not enough in the leg two. But yeah. So
hold on. Wait, Paul just said it's Athletic Bilbao, not Atletico. Is that true? Is it? So
Athletic Club Bilbao.
So it must be in Spanish. It must be Atleti Bilbao. Because
maybe
you know what I mean.
Atletico Madrid is Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
Athletic Club Bilbao is.
Yeah, but that's the English version. I'm trying to figure out what Spanish would be. I think it'd be Atleti Bilbao, maybe something like that. Paul said Lenny dreams of playing for Athletic Bilbao, but who's gonna tell him? Paul, don't ruin my dreams like this. None of that. No, this is
the Williams brothers.
Yeah, I'm gonna play with the Williams brothers. I'm gonna ban you from the chat if you say anything like that.
That would be unwise.
That would actually be really unwise. One of our most vocal and verbose members out of the chat. Sam Paul Brown said, "Full America, McBride and."
They're going on about Fulham.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah,
but
I mean Fulham definitely an American dream.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So we have them down.
So we're different on 2 out of 3.
Yep.
Last one we're the same. So we will see.
Imagine
a change.
I crawl back to 500.
If
I'm sensing it.
If you crawl back to 500, that would mean I would go down to 5 and 7, and I'd be where you are. Well, actually, not as bad as you are. You're 3 down.
Yeah, I am.
It's just not great.
No, it's not.
But yeah, I think.
That concludes the podcast for this week. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. There was a bit of banter going on, a little bit of argument going on, you know.
I think we could do that more often.
Oh, totally, yeah.
If we could set up a couple.
Oh, also the chat can spark in with some hot topics and debates. You know, you guys want to see us, not agree on everything.
Yeah.
So pop in with the chat. put some hot topics like Paul did, asking for the starting 11s for the USMNT, and we'll try to cover them. We have a plan of what we're going to go over, but we can try to squeeze anything in. So yeah, thank you guys for being vocal in the chat today. And thanks for just tuning in overall. Hopefully you have a good night and a good rest of your week. And we'll be back next week, Monday, same time as normal, 8:30 p.m. to start your week off on a bang. Peace.
There you go.